Hi fellas and welcome to Versus. Man, time moves fast. It's as if I was just talking to you about Versus yesterday and another episode is already here. Maybe it's love or maybe it's the fact that we restless idiots do a lot of scurrying around in a week. Maybe it's the second one. So yeah, we again managed to come up with 3 packages for you guys, 3 stories to tell you guys. What are they? In a minute. But first, I have to tell you about this email ID that we have, one where you can send all sorts of communication to us, and one where we would be forced to reply, so please write to us. Write anything that marries you. And now to the more fun part. In segment 1, we are going to compare 2 types of tripod heads. One are the regular ones that everyone has used, even me, the starter kinds. And the second are the video heads, the fluid heads, which are a little bit more professional and a little more pricey, but you'll see why an upgrade might be necessary. In Meanwhile, which is the second segment actually, in the first story of Meanwhile, we want to share our experience with the LG W30. And as always, we've tried our best to keep numbers and specs out of it, and we will talk about our experience. And then in story number 2 of Meanwhile, we will show you something new from Sony, something new from Sony Bravia. As a display fanatic, even I am excited. And now that I have you hooked, this seems like a great time to tell you that my name is Raag. I was supposed to be the director of today's show. That's what I promised you last week, but honestly, what I have planned for you will blow your mind. Most probably next week. And now let's begin, of course, with the bumper. Don't think I forgot you, buddy.
Hi guys, good evening and let's talk versus. So I've always had an inkling to name this show Tuesday Battle or maybe even Tuesday Wars or maybe even Fight Tuesday. I mean, you get the picture, right? There has to be Tuesday and then some synonym of fights and whatnot. So, hey, by the way, at any moment if creativity strikes you, drop in your ideas to the email ID below. Today we are comparing tripod heads. Tripod heads are the portion where you mount your camera, this thing right here. So the head is literally what comes between your camera and the tripod legs. Now most of the time when you buy an entry level starter tripod, that's what this is as well. You get a fixed bundle, it's fixed. But as you start climbing the legs of a tripod, pun intended but innuendo not. So as you start climbing the levels of tripods available, you'll see that you can buy kits, you can build and buy kits that let you play permutations and various other combinations. As in you can buy just legs, or choose between different types of heads and mounts. For example, I myself have bought just legs. So when I bought my tripod, just the legs. I own a pair of tripod legs. They did not come with a head, because I wanted to buy a particular type of a tripod head, and there are so many types of different tripod heads that you can actually buy. But for today's episode, I'm only talking to the video guys amongst you, not the photographers. Sorry guys. We'll have a discussion some other day. But today's discussion is about video heads and versus every other tripod head that you use as a beginner. So this one right here is a beginner tripod. If you look at it, there's nothing to it. It's just plastic that just rotates like so. And the problem with this head is it's like a staccato thing happening. So it stutters if you rotate it around. That's because it's literally, there is no mechanism to it. There's a plastic ring on top of another plastic ring which just rotates. So you have to do a lot of practice to get fluid pans out of this. For that matter, if you unlock the tilt as well, there is no control as to, it drops back as well. But again, to get fluid movement out of it, you have to put in a lot of effort. I'm not saying you can't get it. In fact, this is also amongst one of the good ones. But you have to put in a lot of effort to get smooth movement out of it. Now, this is good for photographers. I'm not saying it's useless. It's very good for photographers. But personally, I would not use this for, let's say, when I'm using big bulky cameras, even though the gravity of big bulky cameras does add stability to it, but I won't use it. What I do use is a fluid head. To carry that fluid head, I'm going to go off screen for a single second and shebang. Now this is an example of a proper video head. This is just an example. The camera that is filming me right now is actually placed on a bigger and far more expensive one than this. What do I mean when I say it's a proper video head? Okay, so it's making a lot of noise because it does have a nut in here that's 3x8. So ignore that sound and let's just continue. It has a fluid drag system, which I hope you can see right now. So herein you can adjust the tension. Now there are various ways how manufacturers are able to do this. Sometimes it's literally a thick liquid inside these knobs, and these knobs then help adjust the viscosity of the fluid. So when you let go a tripod like this, when you unlock it, and when you let go of a tripod like this, it will smoothly return to place as if it does an auto pan or an auto tilt in that case. Similarly, you can adjust tensions to the pan as well. As I told you, you can adjust that. If you can see here, so now I rotate it and I'm just adjusting settings. It can be very free and it can be very tight. So right now, if I loosen it completely, you see how fluidly, if I can, you see how clearly it rotates. So imagine this, and you can literally do 360 shots with ease. And if you tighten it around, if you go completely nuts about it, by hand it becomes very hard to do it. Also, these tripods help you with a lot of kitting up as well. So if you look at it, it comes with a standard 3x8 inch adapter, which means you can mount it to, I am always carrying an adapter just to make it into a standard 1/4 inch adapter tripod head, which you can mount any place. So I'm always, I always carry these adapters. And then since it's heavy and bulky, it will support heavy camera rigs if you ever choose to build one. So the more professional, you climb that ladder, your cameras, the lenses, the mounts, the matte boxes, follow focus and whatever, the more you add, you'll see that these will actually creak around. Okay, very poor example to give right now, but even this one, if you add anything heavier than anything else, like a professional, let's say even a 5D, for example, on a heavy lens, I don't think this would be able to support the weight of it. So that's one way to look at it. And the other way is, of course, price. This costs almost 3 times the cost of this entire tripod, or maybe even more. I might have, gotten it in a good deal. So you have to factor in the price factor. But trust me, when it comes to using a tripod for video with heavy cameras, you should always get specialty gear, because all the stabilization in post and everything probably will never match what you get on set. So thank you for watching this week's Versus. Actually, the first story of Versus, 2 more to come. And I'll see you again in this episode, but for sure next week. Take care, bye-bye.
Time now to take a very short break. I'll see you soon. Welcome back to Versus, welcome back to Meanwhile, welcome back after the break, and say hello to my first review. I mean my first smartphone review. It is a big moment for me. I've done my fair share of gaming reviews, and you know what? Yours truly is amazing at that. What yours truly is not is probably humble. But mostly everything else in tech has humbled me. So to overcome all of that, I was tossed over an LG W30. It's part of their new budget series, and I was asked to just use this phone. That's it. I was asked not to worry about specifications. I was asked to just see the phone, use the phone as I use my actual phone. And the first thing that I realized was that it looks prettier than my current phone. It does punch above its price category, and I know Hop has its philosophy that looks are subjective. If you search online, you will actually find people who feel that the Mona Lisa is not beautiful, yada yada yada, but whatever. This is my experiential, and I found the phone good looking. The striped texture on the back of my platinum grey unit looks good to my eyes. And overall, the phone is pretty easy to hold, but yeah, I do have large hands. However, it is slippery, especially because of the metal-like curved bar on the sides. But I'm fine with it, because I put cases on my phones as is. I also like the fact that it has a headphone jack, because apparently it's the costliest component in a phone. That's why the smartphone industry is being forced to remove it. But this has it actually. Most budget phones still have it, and wow, Wow. I mean, sarcasm, wow, basically. But anyways, I liked the screen, but completely hate the notch. And in the settings, you can change the notch's shape from a V to a U, or you can sort of fake hiding it. Why even, have it if you allow hiding it? Moving on to the overall usage part, I have mixed feelings. See, it performs day-to-day duties very well, call quality is very good, and overall interface was to my liking, and I could just customize the rest. And I am a long-time Android user, so everything else was home. But I am also a gamer, so I had to tune down settings of most heavy-duty games. But that's not a blame, it's a very budget phone. I can't be unrealistic with my demands. But yes, there were moments of lag. But thankfully, there was no heating, which I think is a pretty big deal. Even when it was like, not that much, it was mild enough to not be a cause of concern. I also love the fact that there is a notification LED, and I can't believe that it's a feature that I would have, missed. So I find it easy to not pick up my phone just to check whether I got a message or a mail while I was away. No light, no picking up, and coming to the cameras. There are 3. And honestly, I'm not a camera nerd and I really don't click that many pictures. But yes, I do appreciate having a wide angle lens over a lossy telephoto. And yes, this is probably one of the only selfies I have clicked this month. I'm not a selfie person. I also sort of didn't like the fact that it is not Type-C. Maybe today all phones are not Type-C, but tomorrow they will be. And that shouldn't be the reason for me to switch from an otherwise very value for money device. And I see that keeping in mind LG's wide presence all across our country, in case anything goes wrong, So that's it. That was my first non-gaming review. How did I do? Did you guys like it? Encourage me more by dropping some positive comments on this email ID. I'm needy. And I'm also going to catch a quick break and be right back. Welcome back to Versus People, and say hello to something new by Sony. It's Bravia series.
So if you somehow manage to steal my B&H account's password and account ID, you'll see that I have a Sony's coloring monitor from the Pro series in my wish list. I cannot afford to buy it, so it's just lying there. What if one day I hit a lottery? Hey guys, welcome to Versus, and today I am at something special because Sony is saying I don't need to buy that coloring grading monitor. I can just buy one of their TVs. Also, to talk about the TV, I'm not going to do that. I got someone special to do it, and he is, might as well let him introduce himself.
My name is Sunil Nair and I'm the Managing Director of Sony India. Today we introduce our new lineup of Bravia OLED televisions, and we introduce the new Master Series A9G, and these are truly remarkable products. I think they deliver the best in picture, best in sound and best in user experience. Seeing is believing. You will have a demo of it later, and then I am sure that you will enjoy these products. I think last couple of years Sony has introduced a very, very unique sound technology in televisions, because TVs generally in everywhere, not only in India, have been known by its picture quality. Now, when you talk about TV, I need a great picture quality. So Sony is anyway, innovator and a leader in picture quality. We have introduced all kinds of, picture engines, picture processors, and we have now recently introduced X1 Ultimate. This is the best picture processing technology, period, in the industry, and which is embedded in our new television series, right? So this is picture. I don't think so any, manufacturer has thought seriously about sound in a television. Now here we are, Sony. So I think engineers I think they have been working for quite some time, and especially this year, we have been blessed to be given, introduce such a wonderful product, which you saw today. This boasts of a unique sound technology, which is called as Acoustic Surface Audio Plus, where amazingly, the sound comes from the screen of the television. Nobody else, no manufacturer else, anybody else can deliver this kind of immersive sound experience. And keeping in mind a great, design concept along with this beautiful sound and immersive technology which Sony has evolved. So I think, again, as I say, listening is believing. So I would really encourage you and my customers to experience the sound quality of our televisions, and they will find actually a real cinematic experience within their living room. which no manufacturer can talk about today. Yeah, that's why we brand them as the Master Series, because they have come through a very stringent quality control and evaluation, check marks, benchmarks from the masters in the industry in Hollywood, in America, and our televisions have been branded as the Master Series because they truly represent the director's intent and idea when he is creating the content. So in that sense, they are actually the master televisions series. We want to truly represent what the director wanted to show to his customers, not only in a cinema theater but also in a living room while watching the television.
And so, ending on the high note of doing a fun little chat with Mr. Sunil Nair from Sony. He's the MD, by the way, should be more stuff. Anyways, but hey, for him also, this chat was as fun as it was for us. And he's promised he wants to talk more with us. But anyways, this is the real culprit for the day. So if you walk into a Sony flagship store, Sony store, and tell them, hey, listen, bro, on the best TV that you make. So they'll point you to this one. And again, there's a lot of trickery going on here. By the way, don't get fooled by that speaker. On that note, don't get fooled by the audio system inside, the audio box inside. Don't get fooled by this speaker as well. Don't get fooled by this speaker as well. And they've also hidden a speaker over here, a soundbar over here. And well, basically because the TV, the screen is the speaker. So there are actuators in the back which actually thump and pulse and play audio. So if you bring your ears close, you can not only feel the screen, you can hear the screen as well. In that regard, even this remote is kind of useless. I mean, this is the first time I'm touching the remote myself, and I'm sitting through a demo session, and I'll tell you why. For example, okay, Google, switch off TV, please. How insanely awesome is that? While you guys, churn your mind around, and I'm going to take an exit on Versus. I'll see you again. Bye.
As exciting as today's episode was, you guys have no idea how awesome is it going to be when I direct Versus next. Okay, I have to be honest, only 2 stories are sorted and I'm still looking for the 3rd story. I'm going to keep smiling sheepishly while we drop in the email ID for suggestions and then the end bumper. Bye.